All right, let's jump right in, because today we are talking about one of the most incredible, mind-blowing archaeological finds of the 20th century. I'm talking about the Nag Hammadi Library. This is a collection of ancient books that were literally buried in the desert for over 1,500 years. And what they contain? Well, it pretty much flips the script on what we thought we knew about early Christianity.
So let me just start by asking you this. What if the story you know about early Christianity is only half the story? What if there were other gospels, other ideas about Jesus, and completely different ways of seeing the world that were just erased from history? Because that is exactly the possibility that the Nag Hammadi discovery puts on the table.
So to get this, we gotta go back. But our story doesn't start in some ancient cathedral. Nope. It begins in the 20th century with a totally accidental discovery in the sands of Egypt that would change religious history forever.
See, what was found wasn't just some ancient trash heap. This was a time capsule, deliberately buried. You have to picture it. It's the early 5th century, and a single, correct version of Christianity is being enforced with an iron fist. You had powerful figures like Archbishop Cyril of Alexandria and this really intense abbot named Shenote, and they were on a mission, hunting down what they called heresy. They were seizing and burning what they called books full of abomination. So, faced with total annihilation, a community of believers did the only thing they could. They carefully sealed their entire sacred library in a big clay jar and buried it, praying that someone, someday, would find it.
And this wasn't just an act of panic. It was an incredible act of faith in the future. I mean, listen to this quote from one of the texts they buried, the Gospel of the Egyptians. They believed this knowledge was so vital, so important, that it was destined to be rediscovered at the end of the times, to reveal a profound truth that they felt the world just wasn't ready to hear yet. Chilling, right?
So fast forward about 1,500 years. The jar is finally opened. What in the world was inside? An entire library. We're talking more than 50 unique individual texts that were completely unknown to the modern world. This wasn't just a few fragments. It was a treasure chest of lost gospels, revelations, and secret teachings. And just look at some of these titles. The Gospel of Thomas, the Apocalypse of Adam, on the origin of the world. You see familiar words like gospel and apocalypse, but trust me, these are not like the ones you find in the Bible. They offered a completely different and way stranger vision of reality. And they were all connected by one powerful central idea. And that idea is gnosis. Now, gnosis is just a Greek word for knowledge, but we are not talking about book smarts here. This isn't about memorizing facts. Gnosis is a direct, personal, explosive experience of divine insight. For these people, who we now call the Gnostics, salvation didn't come from believing a creed or following the rules. It came from knowing, from having a revelation that awakens you to your true divine self and shows you the secret way to escape what they saw as the prison of this material world. And this obsession with gnosis, well, it led to a worldview so bizarre, so completely upside down, that you can immediately see why the early church fathers saw it as such a dangerous threat. Okay, so check out this contrast. The Orthodox Christian view, both then and now, is basically that the world, our universe, was created by a perfect, all-good God. Sure, it's a little messed up now, it's fallen, but its fundamental nature is good. The Gnostic view? A complete 180. They believed that this physical world is a disaster. It's a prison, an illusion, created not by the true ultimate God, but by some lesser, bungling, and totally ignorant cosmic entity. And they had a name for this creator god, the Demiurge. In their texts, he's often called Yaldabaoth, or even Saklas, which literally means the fool. To them, this was the God of the Old Testament, the one who proudly declares, "I am God and there is no other." For the Gnostics, that wasn't a statement of ultimate power, it was a pathetic confession of cosmic ignorance. This guy wasn't the true God. He was the warden of our prison, the one who trapped our divine sparks in these clumsy bodies of meat and bone. And their mythology was just so fantastically detailed and weird. Get a load of this quote from the Apocryphon of John, describing some of the Demiurge's underlings. One of them, Yahweh, which is obviously a play on Yahweh, has a cat's face. I mean, this shows you this wasn't just some dry philosophy. It was a full-blown, vivid, alternative mythology designed to completely rewire your understanding of everything.
Now, it's super important to understand that Gnosticism wasn't one single unified religion. The Nag Hammadi Library proves that. It reveals this incredible spectrum of thought, from really beautiful mystical philosophy on one end, all the way to this grim, world-hating rejection of everything on the other.
Let me show you exactly what I mean. Let's look at two quotes from the library that have completely different vibes. First up, we have this from the Gospel of Thomas. This is that mystical, almost Zen-like side of Gnosis. It's saying the kingdom of God isn't some place you go when you die. It's already here, right now, spread out upon the earth, hidden in plain sight. We just don't have the eyes, the Gnosis, to see it. So salvation isn't about escaping the world. It's about waking up to the divinity that's already inside and all around you.
And then you get this from the Book of Thomas the Contender. The tone here is totally different. It's angry, it's despairing. You are captives, bound in caverns. You laugh? For this author, the world isn't a hidden paradise. It's a horror show, a dark cave, and the worst part is that most of humanity is just clueless, laughing away, completely unaware of their own enslavement. So yeah, clearly there was no single Gnostic belief system. This was a wild, diverse, and even contradictory spiritual landscape.
So this radical worldview was crushed. Its books were buried, and it was forgotten. But here's the thing. The ideas never really died. They went underground, and they continue to pop up and resonate in some really powerful ways, even today. I mean, these core Gnostic feelings, that sense that the world is somehow broken or not quite real, the search for a hidden truth, the belief that there's a divine spark inside you waiting to be awakened, these ideas keep bubbling to the surface all through Western history. You see echoes of it in the Enlightenment, in Romantic poets like William Blake, and even in 20th century psychology. Carl Jung was fascinated by Gnosticism. He saw it as an ancient map of the human subconscious. And of course, it is all over modern science fiction. Think about it. The Matrix is probably the most perfect Gnostic myth ever put to film. A fake reality created by a flawed creator to imprison humanity. That's pure Gnosticism 101.
The political philosopher Eric Vogelin even made this incredible claim. He said, "The essence of modernity is the growth of Gnosticism." And what he meant was that the modern experience, that feeling of being alienated, of seeing the world as a flawed system that needs to be radically transformed or escaped through some kind of special knowledge, whether that's politics or technology or self-help, he argued that that is the central impulse of our time.
And that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? The people who buried these books thought they were preserving a divine secret. Their enemies thought they were hiding a dangerous lie. But maybe, just maybe, what they really preserved was something else. Evidence of a timeless, deeply human impulse. That nagging suspicion that this reality isn't the whole story. And the relentless hope that if we could just find the right knowledge, we could wake up to something real.